Wait,
And
is this the story where you were in a coma for like 2 days? So I guess when you woke up from the coma, your sugar levels went down and your body was able to be normal
yes,
again.
type 1 diabetes, the problem is that your immune system does not work properly. You know, the difference between type 1 and type 2 is this one.
How did your body react when you have too low of sugar?
We are lucky because right now with technology, we can detect that when it's not too late. So this beeps usually when you are going low, it beeps and says, okay, you are going low.
Is everyone's blood sugar the same? Like, do you like I mentioned before, my dad had type 2. Like, are all blood sugars the same, or do you need a different one because you are, let's say, women and different weight versus my dad who's taller and fatter? When you take an insulin shot, it is like a right away, like let's say your sugar is too high and you take the insulin, does your sugar like lower like right away, or is it like a? I hope that's the only coma you'll ever be in.
Me too. Diabetes, there's no cure, but you have to maintain yourself every day. I talk about this a lot because diabetes forces you to be present every single minute of your life because you have to check your blood sugars, you have to feel your body if something is wrong because technology fails. So you have to be self-conscious all the time.
Hello. There is so much to unpack from this article alone. You say that society says we should feel gratitude when we look at our bodies, the body that allows us to live, eat, fuck, do everything with our days. Our body should be praised like a temple, no ifs and buts, no ifs and buts, but all that talk is toxic. My question is, do you accept your body? Because from your article, it seems that you have like a love and hate relationship.
It's really difficult to accept that because we are used to, usually online, on Instagram, on social media, everybody is always saying that you must accept your body, you must, be grateful for that. And I am grateful, I accept my body, but some days when,
No.
yeah.
But I do get it that hate the body. Like, my body is awful in terms of just body health and stuff, and I kind of hate it every single day. But
I think, when there's no cure, it's really difficult to, to accept that fully.
are like to me, it's like amazing that you have to basically be your body coach. Like, you have to
Yeah.
watch what you eat. You gotta. Do you ever feel like your mind is separated from your body? Like you're making your body healthy as possible, but like you're so busy taking care of your body that like your soul isn't being fed. Like, do you ever feel like that? Yeah, this is and then like, do you ever like look in a mirror sometimes and just be like, fuck, like I'm here.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to my podcast, Two Mics One JoeySooch. I am JoeySooch, and I'll be giving a mic to Michela.
Yeah. Michela, hi.
Hi.
Nice to
She
meet you, Joy.
Nice to meet you. She's all the way in well, she lives in Italy now, but she's all the way from Germany. My first German guest ever. She had type
Yeah.
1. She had type 1 diabetes. Really, really, really gives a shit about the environment. LGBTQ advocate, and apparently really good at making sourdough. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for coming on here.
Thank you for inviting me.
First thing first, do you really bring your own bottle?
Yes, of course. I have my bottle here. I always bring my bottle, just not just for the environment, but also for diabetes. Because when you have diabetes and your sugar acts crazy, you have to drink a lot. So that's why I always have my bottle with me.
Do you ever have like a candy bar? Because my dad had type 2 diabetes and we always have like candy or something just for a quick sugar boost.
Yes, when I have low blood sugar, I usually eat candies. I prefer candies, but sometimes also juice. Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason, for the audience that's listening, the only reason I ask if she brings her own bottle is because her Instagram handle is I bring my own bottle. So, I did had to ask.
Yes.
So let's establish you first, or none of our future conversation will make sense to the audience. You have type 1 diabetes. Did you have that since birth? Or I read it can happen in adults too.
Yes, I have it since I was 25 years old. I actually knew the disease before because my brother had it. He was diagnosed when he was 13, I think. So it was really young. I was 25. It's actually strange because type 1 diabetes. They believe that it was, something that only child could have. But right now we know that also when you are an adult, you can be diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So yeah, I was 25 when I got it. Yeah.
So did you have any symptoms growing up that you may have had it earlier, or it just started fast for you?
For me, it started really fast. I was, it was January, I think. I was in Italy for the Italian Christmas holidays, and I had a little bit of symptoms. I was drinking a lot, and I was also tired, really tired. But nothing to worry about. Just it was strange, but I was not feeling so sick. Then at the time I was living in the northern part of Italy, and I went back there for work. And one day I started feeling really sick, like something like it seemed like I caught the flu or something. I started coughing. I had trouble breathing, something like that. And so I went to the ER. And it's actually a really long story, but at first they didn't recognize type 1 diabetes. They said it was something with my lungs. There was some problem with my lungs. But, when you have someone in your family that has type 1 diabetes, which are, the main symptoms. And I knew that when you drink a lot, it can be type 1 diabetes.
When you say drink a lot, you mean a lot of water or like alcohol?
Yeah, no, a lot of water.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I knew that it could be type 1 diabetes. And after a while, I told the doctors, I said to them, it can be type 1 diabetes. My brother has it. Maybe it's something that runs in my family. But they said that it was really strange. So they took me to a nearby hospital specialized in lung problems. And they left me without drinking water. So that caused a sort of escalation, and after a while, when you don't drink water and your sugars are really high, it can be bad for you, So I was in a coma for about one night.
Wait, is this the story where you were in a coma for like 2 days?
No, just one day. It was one night, I think. I woke up, after 24 hours, but I was actually in a coma for only the night. And I woke up, I was, like in the emergency room. It was really crazy because I didn't remember anything about it, And yeah. I woke up and they told me, Michela, you have type 1 diabetes. And I was like, yeah, I kind of knew that, I knew it was not lung problems,
But what was wrong with your lungs that they were looking at your lungs?
Because I had, I was coughing a lot and I had this sort of fever, and they thought that it was something related to my lungs, but that was totally wrong. Yeah.
Huh, that's
It,
so
It was
weird.
really strange. Yeah, it was really, really weird. And also, after 2 weeks, when I was, when I went out the hospital, I tried to ask them why they thought it was not type 1 diabetes. Also, because, you can check the blood if you have some doubts about it, and you can see if the person has high blood sugars. But yeah, they probably got it wrong, and yeah, it was crazy.
So it seemed like they missed the symptoms of diabetes and just went for another direction.
Yes, yes. And that's why I went in a coma, because when you when you have high blood sugars for a lot of hours, it can be bad for you, you know. So they didn't realize that I was, sleeping in a coma, and yeah, that's why I had those crazy days.
Yeah, so I guess when you woke up from the coma, your sugar levels went down and your body was able to be normal
Yes.
again.
Yes, with type 1 diabetes, the problem is that your immune system does not work properly. The difference between type 1 and type 2 is this one. With type 2, you just have insulin resistance, your pancreas is not working properly, and you need to take insulin or other, medicines because of that. With type 1 diabetes, it's your immune system that it's not working properly. And we don't actually know why this happens, but it's like your body is turning against itself. So your immune system attacks the beta cells in your pancreas. So your pancreas does not produce insulin anymore. Okay. So when you have type 1, you have to either take shots of insulin, we call them pens, and you have a small needles and you just shoot insulin every time you have to eat. And or you can use an insulin pump. It's attached to you 24/7, and this automatically pumps insulin into your body, and whatever you want to eat, you just calculate the amount of carbohydrates that you want to eat, and then it pumps insulin into your body.
So you tell it how much insulin you will need based on whatever you'll be eating.
Yes. For example, if I have to eat a pizza, which is, a big amount of carbs, I usually do a lot of insulin. But if you have to eat a salad or, a small piece of bread or whatever, you just take fewer units of insulin. Yeah.
So are you like so do you like know how much calories are in like a pizza, or do you like try to look it up on like the menus and such?
It depends. When you eat something from the supermarket, it's easy because there is the nutritional values are there, so you can see them. But when you go, for example, to a restaurant, it's not that easy. So I think you need a little bit of experience. With time, you learn how much insulin do you need, and then you just, the first times you are always guessing, even with, cakes or fruits or pasta, you are always guessing for the first a couple of months, and then you get really good to, estimate carbs. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens if you have too much insulin?
when you have too much insulin in your body, your blood sugar drops. So you have to eat sugar. That's why sometimes we have candy or juice, because when you calculate the amount of carbs, it's easy to get wrong. It's easy to not know what you have in front of you. The amount of pasta, the amount of bread. It's really difficult sometimes to know exactly. So that's why sometimes we go low, and then we have to eat something sugary like candies, juice, things like that.
It's not a bad thing to do that you need to eat candy, but
it's actually pretty good.
It's a good excuse. And then when your insulin is too low, that means you just have to eat. But like, how did your body react when you have too low of sugar?
It depends. The first symptom for me, it's brain fog. I cannot understand anything when I'm low. It's brain fog for sure. And then you start shaking. And you feel really, really tired. That's how you feel. We are lucky because right now with technology we can detect that when it's not too late. So this beeps usually when you are going low. It beeps and says, okay, you are going low. You are not low, but you are going to be low in half an hour, for example. So you can act before having the symptoms. Yeah.
Is everyone's blood sugar the same? Like, do you I mentioned before, my dad had type 2. Like, are all blood sugars the same, or do you need a different one because you are, let's say, women and different weight versus my dad who's taller and fatter?
No, the blood sugar is always the same for normal people. Usually it's between 80 and 120. With diabetics, it's when you are diabetics, when you have either type 1 or type 2, it's really difficult to have those numbers. So we usually go a little bit higher than that, but nothing too high.
So like my dad does the needle shots before every meal, and you have the machine.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between the two processes?
It's actually kind of the same. I was doing needle shots, the first 2 years of my disease. I used the pens, and it's actually the same. You have the same insulin here. So the only difference is that you need to calculate the units of insulin that you have to do in your pen if you are using the pen, and here you have just to push some buttons, but it's kind of the same.
So what made you change to a machine? Is it easier to do?
It's easier, also if you are traveling or if you are on the go. It's easier to push some buttons. I understand that for some people it's really difficult to have something attached to their body for like all their lives, because you have this machine on you 24/7. So you detach it only when you take a shower or something, but it's usually always with you. And I understand that it can be difficult sometimes, but it's easier, to eat in a restaurant, or if you are traveling, eating on the road and things like that. So yeah.
Well, I'm sure you have both processes in case, I don't know, like your machine dies. Like, I'm sure you have backup.
Yes. I always have the pens with me because I cannot stay without insulin. So I have the machine, and then if it breaks up, I just if it breaks up, I just shot myself with insulin.
When you take an insulin shot, it is like a right away, like let's say your sugar is too high and you take the insulin, does your sugar like lower like right away, or did like like let's say like an hour before you feel?
No, with with the new insulins, it's just uh, 10 minutes, I think. Yeah, 10, 15 minutes, but not more than that.
Oh, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah, it's really fast. When you are high, maybe 200, uh, you have to wait a lot more because it has to go down and then. But if your blood sugars are okay, it's 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know we were talking about a coma before, and you have an article on it, and they called it
Yeah.
DKA, a
Yeah.
diabetic ketoacidosis.
Yes, it's diabetic ketoacidosis. It's actually the reason why type 1 diabetics can go into a coma because glucose, what you eat, is what gives you energy to live. Okay, so if your body has too much sugar, it turns acid. I don't know how to say this, in
Mhm.
medical terms, but it actually, your blood turns acid. So you start, losing muscles. You start to be really skinny because you have no energy. Okay, and this process is called diabetic ketoacidosis, and it's like what brings you to a coma.
I hope that's the only coma you'll ever be in.
Me too. Me too. I hope that was, a mistake from the doctor, and I hope that it will not happen anymore.
Um, I mean, it is a mistake, but at the same time, no one really knew. Like, you didn't know, like, you would
Yeah,
enter a coma because that's pretty scary to think of that.
yeah,
You're unresponsive for like 12 hours. That's,
yeah.
but you said that your brother has it. So does it run in your family at all?
No, it's just me and my brother.
Of course. That's,
Yeah, it's with diabetes, the fact that doctors cannot really explain what is going on. They don't know if it's something, in your genes or if it's something in the environment. Mm, so they don't know the cause. And
yeah.
with siblings, it happens a lot. But with parents, it's not so often. It's really rare. Many people I know, they don't know anyone with type 1 diabetes. They didn't know anyone before, the diagnosis. And it's really common to be the only one in your family.
Yeah, it's just weird that both you and your brother had it, but your parents do not.
Mm-mm.
Like, I can understand if you had it, but your brother didn't, but that your brother has it, it's just so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. And also my brother is younger than me. So yeah,
Really?
he got
And
it. Yeah, he got it first, and he's younger than me. So
wh-
it's really strange. Yeah.
wow. So, like, because I read online that it can also be caused by a virus too. So I wonder if you got it from some kind of virus or something.
Yeah, they don't really know. I asked when I was diagnosed if if also the flu symptoms that I had, maybe if they were the cause or a consequence. And they say that they are trying to study that, but they actually don't know yet. So it's really a strange disease, and also a disease that we don't really know right now.
But are you fine otherwise? So I understand it's maintenance basically, but like, are you fine otherwise? Like, are there like, did you get any long-term damage from the coma?
No, no. Luckily, I didn't get anything from that because, they realized that something was wrong, and they checked my blood sugar, and they put me on insulin right away. So I don't have anything from from that experience. Diabetes, there's no cure, but you have to maintain yourself every day. I talk about this a lot because diabetes forces you to be present every single minute of your life, because you have to check your blood sugars, you have to feel your body if something is wrong, because technology fails, so you have to be self-conscious all the time. Yeah.
Well, that's a perfect segue for our next segment, because I know that you love to cook, and you had a huge article going into detail on how much you love to cook. Like, I never read someone so into cooking, and
Yeah.
I wanted to know, like, what is your favorite meal to make?
I really love baking bread. I'm a huge fan of sourdough bread, and I just I like the actions around bread. When you use sourdough, which is natural yeast, you have to wait for the fermentation, you have to see what's going on with the flour, you have to be conscious about what's going on with the bread. So yeah, and it's like you are slowing down in a life that forces you to be always fast, always running around for work or other stuff. Baking bread is like something that it's so slow, so peaceful, you are calm, and that's I think my favorite thing to make in the kitchen. I also love pasta, but I'm not so good at making pasta. At cooking pasta, bought at the supermarket, yes, but making pasta, not so good. I prefer bread.
Yeah, I did read that you love fruits and vegetables. That, I don't know, it like makes me smile how much you love cooking. I don't know why, like, I can feel your enthusiasm about them, because
Yeah.
I met more people that were into cooking when I was younger, because I love to cook. Like, my favorite are crepes.
Oh.
Like, for one, it's really hard to like perfect, but I was able to perfect it, and it's so good.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I put some vanilla in there, and then I like to cook strawberries, like, in a and some sugar in it, and it tastes so good, and some ice
Yeah.
cream.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that too.
Yeah, but I do understand how it's like it's nice to like create something, like you're watching it
Yeah.
do something.
With bread, it's like you are waiting for it, you know, and that's what I really like. Yeah.
Like, I guess with bread, you like can beat out your frustration. You have to like beat it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you
Yes,
like.
because some recipes, some a particular kind of bread, you have to create the gluten in it if you are using a different flour or something. So you have to really beat it, and it's perfect when you are angry or frustrated, and it's really good. It's better than meditation.
Yeah, I think cooking is a very, and what's also cool about cooking is that you get to eat it afterwards. So like you get the enjoyment of like creating it, and then you also get the enjoyment of like eating it too.
Yes, yes. And that's the best part, probably. When you create a recipe from scratch, and then you make something really good, maybe something to share with your family or with your friends. It's always, something really, really cool, and also a huge satisfaction.
But since so I'm kind of curious. So since you live in Europe, like
Mhm.
you're in Italy now, but you live in Germany. What kind of
Yeah.
food do you make? Do you make more German foods or Italian food, or do you kind of go for all cultures in Europe?
No, since I was born in Italy, I always cook Italian food. In Italy, we have a huge tradition with food, and each region of Italy has its own, recipes, different type of pasta, different sweets, different cakes, and I really like Italian cooking, and I think maybe one day I will have, tried everything, but it's really, a huge tradition. So you have so many things you can cook, and yeah, a lifetime probably is not enough.
Oh no, like I went to Italy like 10 years ago, and it
Okay.
had the best food I have ever tasted in my life. Like even
Yeah.
like the regular, the cafe
Mhm.
had like the best food. Like it beats any
Yes.
food here in the United States, hands down.
Yes, I think probably it's because you have these traditions, and no, I'm sorry, my mother is math, please. She's putting away some, I don't know, something like fruits
uh,
and vegetables.
no worry
So
about it.
she will cook today, and you have this huge tradition. So even in the smallest pub, the smallest restaurant, the smallest bar, you always find something good to eat, you know, and that's why.
I think the other thing is something about the ingredients are so fresh.
Yeah,
Like
we are.
I don't know what they do to it, but it was just amazing.
Yeah, we are used to, cook from scratch. We actually, it's really, unusual for us to buy something, already ready from the supermarket. I think that takes a huge part in why it's so good to eat in Italy.
Are you ever interested in trying anything from America? Is there anything you're trying to have?
Hmm, I never tried, American recipes, but I want to. I want to go to the United States one day. It's really difficult if you are from Europe because of healthcare.
Yeah.
That's so maybe not something long term. Also because in Italy we have free healthcare, so that really is something. But I want to go on holiday in the United States, and I
Uh,
want to try the food also.
I mean, it's great here in the United States, but I'm gonna tell you right now that the food is not. You will not like the food. So just a heads up.
No,
N-
but it will be an experience also that.
Yeah, terrible food. Like the only
Yeah.
food that you can have that are like the same quality are like the high end restaurants, but they cost a lot of money to do.
Okay.
But I mean, you're gonna enjoy it, but I'm just telling you the food won't be that great.
Yeah,
Okay. So
I
you
will
have
try it.
Yeah. So you have an article called The Trader Body. I recommend anybody read it. It is super good. Link in the description below. There is so much to unpack from this article alone. You say that society says we should feel gratitude when we look at our bodies, the body that allows us to live, eat, fuck, do everything with our days. Our body should be praised like a temple, no ifs and buts, no ifs and buts, but all that talk is toxic. My question is, do you accept your body? Because from your article, it seems that you have like a love and hate relationship.
It's really difficult to accept totally your body when you have a disease like diabetes. Because, diabetes, it's like your body is basically not doing its job anymore. And, it's really difficult to accept that because we are used to, usually online, on Instagram, on social media, everybody is always saying that you must accept your body, you must, be grateful for that. And I am grateful. I accept my body, but some days when nothing is going, in the right direction, it's really hard to feel that way. And that's why I wrote that article, because I feel that sometimes it's also good to be angry at it. It's also good to be frustrated by it, because we are used to be perceived like warriors. You are a warrior because you are fighting this disease. But some days I don't want to fight. I just want to be angry at my body, and I need to accept that, and also other people need to accept that, because yeah, it is that way. I don't know if you feel the same way or not. Maybe you can understand what I'm saying.
Oh no, I get it. That like I think we both have to accept for who we are because we don't have another option to do, and
Yeah.
it's negative to. I guess it's negative to hate your body, but at the same time, like I can't blame you for hating your body because
Yeah.
it's not working against you, and like you have a indivisible disability. That's a huge part that most people will never see you as like like if I could just change the title to this podcast and just say talking to a woman from Germany talking about cooking, they would never know that you're type 1 diabetes and you have to watch yourself how you eat food, and pasta like could kill you and put you in a coma.
Yeah.
But I do get it that hate the body. Like my body is awful in terms of just body health and stuff, and I kind of hate it every single day. But I guess I hate it, but at the same time I have to accept it because I can't do anything about it. Like there's nothing I can do to make it better. And like if there was a surgery or something I could do, I would totally do it in a heartbeat and such. And like it kind of I get tied into like, let's say a woman is not happy with her body, so they get breast implants. They can make their body look better. But I don't know if that's in the same conversation as someone who had an indivisible disability.
Yeah. I think, when there's no cure, it's really difficult to, to accept that fully. Yeah, and some days you just have to accept that you ate your disability and your body. Some days maybe are better, but yeah, I think we know that we have to live with it, so that's why I feel that my body is betraying me, but also that I have to accept it.
Yeah, because like I don't know about you, but it's hard to be angry because like you can't put your anger towards something, like you can't be mad at your parents because they didn't give it to you. Can't be mad at the doctor because they didn't really give it to you. Like you can't be mad at anyone, but like you also don't want to be mad at yourself because it's still you. So like it's hurting you, but then you're hurting yourself more. And it really just ends up with frustration because like you don't know, like it's understandable why someone's angry, but like you can't do anything, and that what makes it even more frustrating.
Yes, that's exactly the point.
Yeah, like I have a YouTube channel, and I like filming myself just doing what I normally do, just because it's an amazing story and such. But even when I edit and such, I have to like sit down and just like stop editing because like sometimes I forget who I am in a way, and then I'll just look at myself on the video, and I'll just be like, that's me living right there. And I'm just like, I guess it's like part of me is like, wow, that's amazing. I'm living this life. But at the same time, I just get so angry and so self-conscious about it because it's so like, I can't believe I'm living this life here. I'm just like struggling. Like, how does anybody want to like be with me and talk to me and then like want to watch this? It's like, it's inspiring to some people, but at the same time, it's horrifying because there's someone that's living this life. Like I don't know like what you do, but like sometimes I watch other rare diseases or chronic illnesses, and I kind of just think of like, that's amazing that they're living the life that they are. Like to me, it's like amazing that you have to basically be your body coach. Like you have to watch what you eat. You got to put the insulin in, because if you don't, then you go into a coma and that leads to other problems. Like it's just amazing like you're living the way you have to live, because, and then it's just, I wouldn't say it's inspiring, but it's like, holy shit, people are having so many problems all around the world. And it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah. And I find that interesting too when I watch podcasts like yours or also other content creators out there. And I always, sometimes when I'm angry and I watch other people, doing their things and, living their life, I always feel better, but because, I feel like we are in this together, that's the feeling that I get usually from the community of people with chronic illnesses or other diseases.
I mean, it's normal for like some people, let's say, I don't know, but let's say something like stupid happens in their life, and they look at me and it's like, oh, my life is not that bad. Like this guy is like struggling to get out of bed, and I just.
Yeah, but I don't think, I don't feel, that there is a hierarchy with diseases, because everyone has its struggle and it's normal. I just feel that even with the different diseases, we are in this together,
Oh yeah, like I do like monthly Zoom meetings with like other rare and chronic illness people, and we don't. It's what's nice about it is that, like, yes, we do have different diseases and stuff, but we also have a very shared experience. So we can just talk about a topic of, like, let's say, like we're talking about the topic of like hating ourselves. Everyone can relate to that in their own way. But like, if you talk to someone that doesn't have a chronic illness, it's not on the same field. So it's just nice to like talk to you, and hopefully it's the same for you, that you're able to talk to me and we can relate to each other in our own ways.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think you would want to have this kind of conversation with someone that has no idea about any of that and just a regular human being. It wouldn't hit the same.
Yeah, I think people without illnesses or diseases, they can understand, but it's really difficult for them to relate to the struggle and to the life that you have to. With diabetes, if I don't tell people, they don't know. So many times, at the airport or in other situations when my disease is not visible, I feel that people sometimes judge me because they say, you have nothing, you are, making the stuff up, or that's why I feel that they cannot relate, because they don't know what it's like to live with a chronic illness or with a disease. They don't know what it's like to, have this kind of life every day. When you have, something like this, it's easier to have a different perspective.
Do you ever feel like your mind is separated from your body? Like you're making your body healthy as possible, but like you're so busy taking care of your body that like your soul isn't being fed? Like, do you ever feel like that?
Yeah, sometimes, yes.
Yeah, it's just and then like, do you ever like look in a mirror sometimes and just be like, fuck, like I'm here?
Yeah, because with a body that doesn't work properly, it's really easy to have that difference between the body and the mind, and you have to accept that it's not possible to separate them completely, and you can live an healthy spiritual life and with a body that doesn't work properly.
Yeah, it's just so hard.
Yeah, it really is.
It's so hard. But let's go into the next topic. Let's talk about greenwashing. Are you more into educating about climate change, or are you more exposing company shitty stances on the environment?
When I first opened my my blog, I didn't have, a purpose. Right now, I'm trying to focus on educating, but because I think, it's better to show with my example that, you can live a life with a chronic illness, especially, but a sustainable life. It's not always possible. When I first started, my Instagram page, and everyone was talking about zero waste. I don't know if you know what it is. It's like a movement of people that try to reduce their waste. They, for example, don't use plastic or single-use items. And, I was like, but I need to use plastic because I have this needs to be changed. Everyone, everything is wrapped in plastic. So there was nobody who was talking about this kind of struggle, So after a while, I started to talk about it. I have this disease. I need to use plastic, but I also live a sustainable life, and I always try to, show with my example that it's possible to do it. And, it's just simple actions that people can do in their everyday life. And yeah, with companies, it's really difficult because right now sustainability, it's kind of, a trend. And every company is trying to jump in the sustainability trend, but many of them are not really sustainable. So I try also to educate people to recognize which companies are really sustainable and which aren't.
Yeah, I know you had an article about clothing, and like one of them popped up with like Zara and how they use cheap labor and such. And you go you're talking to about fast fashion and such. So like what do you do to keep yourself sustainable with like clothes, for example?
So first of all, I use everything I have until until I can. For example, if I buy something, I know that I have to use it for years. The problem with fast fashion is that many people buy clothes and they use it. They use the single cloth just once or twice. And that's really unsustainable because, fast fashion chains usually not only they use, cheap labor from the south of the world, but also cheap fabrics. So filled with chemicals, and they end up in the landfill, and they really are difficult to, degrade in the landfill. So you have this piece of clothes that lasts 100 years, and you use it once and then you throw it away. So personally, I like to use what I have a lot, and I try to buy secondhand. If I am in Germany, it's easier because there are a lot of secondhand shops, not only for clothes but also for other stuff. And then sometimes I buy, from sustainable companies, maybe companies that have certification, and on their fabrics, on their labor, and that's easier to know that you are not buying something harmful for the environment.
Yeah, I can totally see you going into thrift shopping. That seems to be your jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's, I mean, it's a good way to find fashion, and you can, I guess, sell your clothes and then buy new clothes. So it's like you're not wasting it. You're kind of just like, I get exchanging.
Yeah, if you buy, clothes from a thrift shop, you are giving a life to, clothes that were owned by other people, and you have something new, something maybe vintage, which is always cool to have. And yeah, you can create also your style, you know, your personal brand without, you know, the help of bigger chains that usually they have always the same style for each season.
Yeah, it is definitely very hard to go shopping in a sustainable way because so many companies use cheap labor because most people are not wanting to spend, let's say, $50 on a shirt, $100 on a shirt. That's
Yeah.
expensive. Where you can buy one for like $10 and it lasts you the same amount of time versus a $50 shirt.
Yeah,
Like
that's why I think that the next step will be to, you know, create clothes without, you know, cheap labor, but that they are not so expensive, so they can be accessible for everyone.
I get what you're saying, but I think is that most people are just not willing to spend so much,
Yeah.
and it's like it's like hard to do because like you don't
Mm.
like when you say made by cheap labor, but like you don't really see it, so it's like hard to like
Yeah.
picture the two. Like I'm sure, so like McDonald's. So I'll give an example. Like so McDonald's will like there'll be like a video that comes out every couple of years, and like their chicken nuggets are not really like chicken. They're like all this crap and stuff, and it's like people watch the video, be disgusted with it, and then like 2 hours later they're at McDonald's eating it.
Yeah, because
That's,
it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget. Yeah.
I mean it's easy to forget, but it's also like accessible and it's right there, and it's like, like
Yeah.
and it's cheap too. Like just I get what you're saying, but it's just so difficult because there's so much negative there's so much negativity attached to so many things that to find something positive is very limited and small.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah. That's why I hope that in the next couple of years, maybe there will be, you know, more companies producing, you know, sustainable clothes, and also maybe with cheaper prices.
so what is your opinion on recycling then?
I think recycling is really good, but it has its limits because, you know, when you buy a plastic bottle, it can be recycled, but not so many times, just once, maybe twice. And, you know, that plastic has to end somewhere, and usually it's the landfill. Uh, I think that recycling is good, but when you have an alternative, like for example, a reusable bottle, it's better to use the reusable option.
Would it blow your mind that recycling actually hurts the environment more than helps it?
Yeah, yes, because many people think that, you know, recycling, I recycle, so I'm good, you know. But if you know, buy 10 water bottles a day, you know, and you have the option to drink tap water, because not everyone has it, you know. Many people don't, so it's fine to buy, you know, plastic bottles in that case if you don't have an alternative. But if I'm buying 10 plastic bottles, but I have tap water, and I'm saying, yeah, but I will recycle them, I'm actually harming the environment more, you know. And also because recycling needs to be done, you know, with energy, and the energy today, unfortunately, comes from fossil fuels. So that's actually, you know, very harmful for the environment, and it's causing actually climate change. So
Yeah, it goes with our articles on greenwashing, and I believe in like the 1960s and 70s, all the large companies like Coca-Cola, they came up with these recycling campaigns, and at the end of the day, it actually uses more energy because like
yes.
I was at college, and if you look at like in my college, there would be a recycling bin, and then there would be a trash bin, and at the end of the day, the trash goes in the same truck.
Yeah.
Like it does, it's just all marketing and greenwashing and
yeah.
like I did an episode. I don't know if you heard. Do you know two guys named Penn and Teller?
No.
So they're two musicians and they had a show on Showtime called
Okay.
Did It Bullshit, and they debunked a lot of myths. So one was on
Okay.
recycling. And so the big thing was that Coca-Cola, let's use Coca-Cola as an example. They know that they're ruining the environment. It's clear as day. Like they don't give a shit about it. And but the thing is that they pretend to give a shit about it. Like this greenwashing that what they do is they put the blame on society, saying you're using too much water, you're keeping the AC on too long. You know, you're not doing X, Y, and Z. But really, us like an individual person, we're only affecting like 0.0001%, where these mega corporations are doing like 60%. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nestle, they're destroying the environment every single day. They're doing more harm in probably one day than we're doing our whole lives.
Yes, that's why I think that, you know, it's good if you do something at an individual level, but it needs to be, you know, just that. And you need to know that it's not enough. You need to push, you know, with your vote every time you buy something, because, you know, when you are buying something, if you buy a Coca-Cola, for example, you are giving money to them. Okay, so if you have another option, you can choose maybe the other option. And I think the individual level is fine. You can do that. It's good. But you need to keep in mind that, you know, you cannot change the world alone, because the problem are the huge corporations. And they tried for so many years to, you know, make you think that the problem was, you know, the water in your house, or, you know, you using the car too much. But that's just a small part of the problem, a really small part of the problem.
Yeah, and then we have hard lives that we have to navigate. You know, it never ends.
Yeah.
But we gotta keep fighting. So before I take the mic away from you, is there anything you want to promote, say, anything inspirational, anything you want to say? Go.
No, I think this, you know, this episode was inspirational enough. I really love to, you know, I really like to be invited by you in your podcast. It was really nice to have this chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that's it. I thought you were gonna go on a little speech.
No. It was just, I was just thanking you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. It was you had an interesting profile, and I hit you up, and I'm glad you said hi back, and we were able to schedule this, and we had a really awesome conversation. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for listening and watching. I want to thank you for Michela for coming on and talking about greenwashing and type 1 diabetes. Thank you everyone for listening and watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.